Everybody, and welcome back to Halftime on the Hudson, the best sports talk show in the Poughkeepsie area. I'm joined by Jack Tavares and David Troger, who ran here 5 minutes ago. I'm JJ Garcia. It is halfway through November and halfway through the NFL season. No huge standout teams yet. Which teams in the AFC have you guys seen so far?
So the New England Patriots have definitely been a surprise team for me this year. They have an 8-2 record. They're leading the AFC West, and they've won 7 straight games. And Drake May is also having an MVP caliber season as well. 2,555 passing yards, 19 touchdowns with just 5 interceptions. And the combination for the Patriots of offensive efficiency and the defense and like the low number of points that they've allowed is a big reason they are at the top of the division right now.
Yeah, and another team, very good defense. You're talking about 8-2. How about the Denver Broncos? The Broncos, a lot of big trade acquisitions this season. The biggest one, probably strong safety Talanoa Hufanga from the San Francisco 49ers. But they rank first in sacks. They have 40 this year. They only allow 270 points per game. That's third. Plus, really strong on the offensive side. J.K. Dobbins having a big bounce-back season. He has almost 800 yards through 10 weeks. Quarterback Bo Nix having a pretty strong year. Little on and off, but overall, this team's looking really strong right now.
100%. Bo Nix has been a little shaky, but he is 14th in passing yards right now. He started off very slow. He's starting to pick it up. The Broncos' offense is starting to pick it up a lot, especially with those receivers, Troy Franklin. They also have J.K. Dobbins taking a lot of the load from running back. He has 4 touchdowns so far on the year. The Broncos' offense seems to be waking up a lot as of recently. And then we have the Indianapolis Colts. We can't forget about them.
No,
they are 8-2 so far on the year. Daniel Jones, I think we could call him Danny Dimes once again.
I think we can call him bounce back player of the year.
Yeah, I think we definitely could. The Colts right now, currently, cool stat, are averaging 1.09 points per minute of possession. It's the highest mark ever recorded in the NFL, meaning every single minute they hold the football, they're scoring more than a point. So, and that's a pretty impressive feat that only the 2013 Broncos and the 2007 New England Patriots have ever done.
Yeah, and how about Jonathan Taylor? Over 240 yards last game. What an incredible performance. He's definitely solidified his place as a potential MVP candidate.
I mean, I think he should be the MVP winner. Drake May is there, but Jonathan Taylor, 1,139 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns. You can't beat that as a running back. Not only that, but the Colts defense, they made a trade for Sauce Gardner at the trade deadline, but they have 10 total interceptions so far in the year, which ranks 3rd in the NFL. This defense is really stepping up. They rank 7th in the NFL for rushing defense, only allowing 94 yards per game. This Colts defense and Colts team in general is really making a push for a top team in the AFC.
Yeah, one thing we might have to watch, though, that defense has a couple injuries. Defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. That's a big hit for this squad.
That is a huge hit, but they've been playing very well together. The coaching staff bringing this team together. Daniel Jones really bringing this team together.
One thing about that offense, too, I mean, they're at the top of the league, averaging about 32 points a game. So, and Daniel Jones, like we said before, isn't turning the football over either. And Jonathan Taylor, obviously, averaging like over 6 yards a carry. So, they're doing great.
It's a very strong AFC so far. A lot of shocking teams as the Patriots are first in the AFC East over the Buffalo Bills. And I mean, I just want to go back to the Patriots really quickly because Drake May is having an MVP caliber season. Yes, they have one of the leading easiest schedules right now, but he is throwing for 255 yards per game, which leads all quarterbacks in the league right now. He's very strong so far.
In his stat on May's season 2 is he became the first Patriots quarterback to record 5 games in a season with 200 or more passing yards, a pass rating 135 or better, and 2 or more passing touchdowns. So he's definitely in a elite class for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a strong start of the season for the Patriots. However, we might have to see if they fare a little less well against stronger competition. The 3rd lowest strength of schedule in the NFL. Once they hit the playoffs, we'll see if this momentum is able to keep up.
We've been talking a lot about the AFC, but let's go over to the NFC as we have one very shocking team over in the NFC West, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. They have been cooking so far. They are a 103-point differential, which is second behind the Indianapolis Colts. Sam Darnold, playing out of his mind, especially the last few games. He's thrown for 2,000 yards so far in the season and 17 touchdowns.
Yeah, Sam Darnold coming off of a huge comeback season last year with the Vikings. But let's talk about the receiver core. Obviously, DK Metcalf being traded to the Steelers. A lot of people thought production would decrease. Tyler Lockett also going away. But how about Jackson Smith and Jigba? Just huge breakout season for him.
He leads the league in receiving yards right now with 1,041, which is saying a lot, especially compared to Puka Nacua of the Rams.
Yeah, and I mean, Sam Darnold, like we were just saying, he's doing more with less, too, than he did even last year, because everyone's going to say, oh, in Minnesota with that receiving core, was he just in a great situation? He's showing the talent he has, and he's playing it on display in the Pacific West.
And it's not just the offense for the Seahawks. Their defense is very solid. They rank 9th in the league and only allow 90 rushing yards per game, which ranks 3rd in the NFL, and only allowing 5 rushing touchdowns. That's a very strong defense to help that offensive scheme that they have down there in Seattle.
Seems like these Seahawks just always have one of those top defenses. Can't get away from it.
No, not at all. They also only have Leonard Williams, a former Giant. Hate to see it, but he is playing so well. 5 sacks and 5 tackles for loss. And then Ernest Jones has 5 interceptions and 5 pass deflections for the Seahawks.
Yeah, that secondary has been playing really well, along with Tariq Woolen as well.
100%. And then there's another team in the NFC West we have to talk about, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford. He might be old, but he's looking like an MVP caliber player right now. The Rams are actually the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. Stafford, 4th in the league in passing yards, 1st in the league in touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions.
Yeah, Stafford's aging like fine wine. I mean, am I correct in saying that the last 3 games in a row, he has been 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions?
That is true. Actually, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 5 passing touchdowns in that game.
Man.
He's truly just incredible so far this year. And he has one of the best targets in the league, Puka Nacua, who was on pace to break a lot of records, but then got hurt. He does have 775 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. But then you look at the man behind him, Devontae Adams, the former Packer, has 9 passing touchdowns on the year.
He's definitely improved since coming over from the Raiders. And also that the running game that Matthew Stafford has with him, too. I don't really think we can forget about what Kyron Williams is doing either. He's being huge, especially for that play-action game as well. It's definitely making a difference.
I feel like a broken record right now with the defenses, but these defenses, Byron Young, 9 sacks, ranks 4th in the league right now in sacks. And then their rushing defense, I feel like I'm going back to this rushing defense for all these teams right now. They rank 9th with 96 yards and only 3 rushing touchdowns against them. That's a huge part to this Rams team so far.
Yeah, the Sean McVay-led defense is really coming into its own these last couple of years. But going back to the offense, one underrated part of their game, Tyler Higbee, a really strong tight end, able to find gaps in coverage, great safety blanket for Stafford.
Yeah, he can get forgotten in that offense, with Devontae and Puka, and obviously with Kyron Williams in the backfield. So, exactly like you said, he's definitely a big target in the middle, reliable target for Stafford.
100%. Let's shift over a little bit. We're going to go to the little brother of the NFL. Some may say, but they really aren't. It's college football. The college football playoffs just came out with their second rankings after week 12 of the season. And we have the top 3 teams. They haven't changed for a few weeks. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3. I think we got to talk about Indiana first because they were in a very tight game last game.
Yeah, they almost blew it, in Happy Valley. It's definitely was interesting to see how that team they were able to come together at the end, but it was panic mode for a lot of that game.
And I think we have to talk about the catch at the end of the game. Amari Cooper Jr., one of the greatest catches I have ever seen in a game before, able to contort his body and get his foot down, the opposite foot that was closest to the sideline. It was one of the craziest catches I ever seen. And if he didn't make that catch, this game might have ended up in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to see out of top teams. You want to see them make big plays when it matters. But let's be real. A Penn State team that just fired James Franklin, who was their head coach for 13 seasons?
Yeah.
Not a team you want to be 14-14 with.
Also with their backup quarterback.
Indeed.
It was very shocking. We're going back to the play right now. The catch, just contorting his body, falling back, a defender on him. Also a great call by the official. I mean, being able to see that real time, getting his toe barely in bounds, just a great catch, a great throw by maybe a top pick in the draft, Fernando Mendoza, also a Heisman candidate.
Certainly on that number 1 pick watch right now.
100%. And then we're going to go over to the 6th team in the country. I would love to talk about Texas Tech. They have been very solid, especially on the defensive end. They're the 6th ranked team in the nation, also first in the Big 12. They have a very good rushing game with Cameron Dickey, who has 867 yards. And then you look at that defense for Texas Tech. They have Jacob Rodriguez, who is a Heisman candidate right now.
Yeah, the Big 12 seems to have come alive a little bit this season. Not only them, but you also have Cincinnati had a decent run for a little while. BYU, of course. BYU, very strong. Bear, been a great quarterback this season, but just this Texas Tech offense, it's reaching heights we haven't seen since a guy that some people in this room might not like, Patrick Mahomes.
And he was actually there to see them take on BYU, who they did take down in a huge game for Texas Tech.
I think it's interesting that the committee decided to thought Texas Tech's resume was good enough to go over Ole Miss and over Oregon. I think it's definitely something that stands out here in the top 10.
Another team that stands out in the top 10 that I do not, frankly, think should be close to the top 10, and that is the Texas Longhorns. I don't understand how the committee puts them in the top 10 for the college football playoffs. They have 2 losses, one against the first-ranked team, Ohio State, which was a pretty rough game for both teams.
Also no, certainly.
100%. And also they lost to Florida, who's not even ranked anymore. How does the committee put a team like Texas in the college football playoffs right now?
You got it.
Well, the primary justification has to be Oklahoma. Oklahoma was playing very well up to that point, still are. They are in the top 15 or so, somewhere in that range. But you have to keep in mind, John Mateer playing with an injured hand in that game threw 4 interceptions. That the defense somewhat got handed it there.
The offense also isn't dominant either. In particular, and Arch Manning, has kind of had an underwhelming season, to kind of put it lightly. I think a lot of people, including myself, thought that he'd be like a top 3 pick in this coming draft, but that hasn't seemed to be the case. And that defense also seems like they're just getting kind of blitzed as well in certain areas.
Certainly. Steve Sarkisian not looking like the explosive offense that we've come to expect. Squirrel White not really picking up as much as normal. But the defense, a lot of holes that we've seen, a lot of miscommunication with the safeties, which has allowed a lot of big plays to go by. It seems like they can't really hold opponents to the level of scoring that they're going to need to with the first-year starting quarterback. I don't care who it is. Arch Manning could be Tom Brady, but it's difficult to do it when you're getting scored that much on.
100%. And then there's one last team we have to cover, and that is the 24th ranked South Florida Bulls. They are the only Group 5 team in the top 25 right now, and if it holds right now, they would be a team in this college football playoffs.
Yeah, difficult loss against Miami for them, but they've been playing very well this season, looking like the automatic bid, probably the 12 seed coming in, but they've had a very strong season, possibly an upset alert for maybe.
100%, especially with Byron Brown at quarterback. He is a senior, but he's thrown for over 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. A very solid season from him. He also has a very good rushing upside. He actually leads the South Florida team with rushing yards with 709 touchdowns. What have you guys seen from Byron Brown?
He's just a Swiss Army knife. He's been really strong on all sides of the ball. Maybe the only thing is some questionable reads at times, but you're never going to have a perfect quarterback in the Group of 5. But they're looking like far and away the number 1 team after the Navy loss.
Yeah, dual threat quarterback, he's hard to stop. It's not really much else to say.
And we also have to look at Keyshawn Singleton, their leading receiver. He has over 10 receptions compared to everyone else on that team, 573 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's averaging 17 yards per catch right now for this South Florida team. He is really proving himself to be a top receiver in this college football.
Yeah, in my opinion, they're going to need to get more out of him if they want to make the playoffs. Not just make playoffs, but go far, maybe make a run. They need their top player makers to make plays, and that's the type of player that he is.
100%.
Fast starts as well, too, I think, by this South Florida team. I think you allow any one of these top teams to really get in front of them by double digits early on, it could be tough sledding for them the rest of the way.
And that's all we have for you for this segment of Halftime on the Hudson. We will see you next on To Prove Your Point.
We're back on the Marist Minute. I'm Nick Cerrito alongside William Rosen, fresh off the plane from Cincinnati covering the men's basketball season opener at Xavier.
Certainly was. Halfway through the first, the Foxes cooking early on, finding Ryjon Blackwell in the corner for the tray ball. Marist would jump out to an early lead behind Blackwell's 24-point performance. 12 left in the second. Trey Carroll spinning and winning, finds the open net. Xavier would be powered by a 31-5 run, and that would do it. Jordan Gabriel, late-stage comeback, can't get a good shot attempt. Xavier holds Marist 66-62.
Going to Tenny, Marist looking to bounce back from a 45-point loss 1 minute into the second. Sonny Menino to Connor Holstein, 78-yard touchdown. Holstein would lead the game with 92 receiving yards, his 5th touchdown of the year. 7 minutes later, Menino keeps it, runs up the sideline for a 49-yard Russian touchdown. Marist would run for 230 yards, winning the contest 41-13.
Women's basketball versus Drexel in their home opener. First quarter, Amaris Baker drives to the hoop and sinks the lay. Her 1,000th point as a Dragon, finished with a team-high 27 points. On the Marist side, Justine Henry trying to find the spark, but Mariah Watkins steals it, the final nail in the coffin. Lane McGurk hits the lay, earning herself CAA Player of the Week. Drexel wins 71-61.
Going to the men's side of things, they're up in Dartmouth. Early in the second half, Justin Mornard hits a mid-range bucket. He would finish with 10.7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals. Later in the second half, Blackwell with a step-back 3. He finished with a team-high 16 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 3 assists, leading Marist to a 75-56 victory.
Women's soccer faces off against number 3 seed Canisius on the road on the MAC playoffs. With under 25 to play in the first half, Canisius with the throw-in. It finds a wide-open Azaria Fagan, who heads it in for the goal. The sophomore Fagan gives the Griffs their only goal as they would beat Marist 1-0 to advance to the MAC semifinals.
Transition into men's soccer. They're down in St. Peter's, needed a win to have a shot at the playoffs. 13th minute in, no score. Kyle Evans, the first-team All-Macker, scores his 7th goal of the season, leading Red Foxes to the 3-0 victory over St. Peter's. But unfortunately, they did not make the MAC playoffs.
A lot going on in the world of Marist, as that's all we have on the Marist Minute.
Unless we don't want to do the introduction.
No, we do want to do the intros, but it's okay if we have to wait a second on the clock.
Right, Johnny.
Hello and welcome back to Halftime on the Hudson. We are here for Prove Your Point. Our first contestant is going to be an Aaron Rodgers enthusiast and a suffering Jets fan. We have his second time on debate segment, David Chernin. David Chernin. There we go. Jonathan Chernin, correction. Jonathan, how's it going? Glad to have you on. And then our second debate contestant, it is his first time on Prove Your Point. He is also on the club hockey team, Johnny Martirano.
We at war. We at war with terrorism, racism,
Johnny, how's it going? Good to have you on.
Good luck.
Good luck.
All right. As you guys both know, tomorrow the AL and NL MVP awards will be coming out. So we'll start over here. Who do you have as your MVP winner?
So for the MVP, I'm not boring. I'm not going to go with someone like Aaron Judge, which a lot of baseball fans want to go with. I'm going with Cal Raleigh for the main reason that he's a catcher. He caught 122 games this year, which is extremely impressive. It's extremely taxing on their body to catch that many games. And while doing that, he hit the most home runs ever for a catcher with 60, leading the AL, and also led the American League with 125 RBIs.
You know, Raleigh leads Judge, in home runs, RBIs, even stolen bases, but Judge clears him in every other category, especially batting average. Judge batted .331, led both sides, American League and National League. And, Raleigh only batting .247. The MVP with the lowest batting average ever was Shohei Ohtani in 2021. He batted .257. That was also Ohtani. He pitched as well. I don't think the batting average is there, and I think Judge is more valuable to his team.
So I disagree with the statement that Judge is more valuable to his team because in the last 20 years, the Mariners have only made the playoffs once. And added to that, they've also only won their division once. Without Raleigh, they would be nowhere near where they ended up. If we're talking about innings of work, right? Because that's extremely important. How much have they contributed to their team? Raleigh has played 1,072 innings as a catcher this year. Aaron Judge, on the other hand, has played 822.1, which when thinking about that, the amount that Cal Raleigh has played so much more as a catcher as opposed to someone like Aaron Judge, who's supposed to play every day in the outfield, I think Raleigh has the edge on that.
Well, Judge could also be a DH, and he did miss only 10 games with injury, so had great stats. And you say, even though the Mariners won the division, Yankees still had a better record than them. Yankees, 94 wins on the year. Mariners, only 90. Yankees would have been the best team in that division. The AL West, that's a weak division. Astros were second with 87. They would have finished fourth in the AL East, which the Yankees division are. So I think Yankees had a tougher division, and they had a better record than the Mariners.
Well, the thing with the Yankees is it's hard to really go and say that Aaron Judge should be the MVP because his team was better. Because when I think about it, I think, well, the Yankees spent so much money in the offseason and they make so many moves in general that their team is significantly better than the Mariners and should be better than the Mariners. Therefore, I think that gives the Yankees an edge where the Mariners relied a lot on Cal Raleigh and a lot on his performance that he's had.
Yes, Judge has a good team, but if the Yankees didn't have Judge, they would be nowhere near where they were in the standings. Yes, they struggle, but Judge is he's a captain of this team. He's the leader of the Yankees. I think that he's more valuable to the Yankees. He's a face of the MLB. Yes, Raleigh a good season, but Judge, Judge is Aaron Judge. And he also, the MVP robbed him in 2017. That was a couple years ago, but I just think overall Judge has better stats than Raleigh, except for really home runs. And, Raleigh, he did have more home runs than Mickey Mantle as a switcher. But, Judge broke that a couple years ago, 62.
So the thing with Cal Raleigh that I find extremely impressive is as a catcher, he's sitting in pitchers' meetings. He's not sitting in hitters' meetings like most hitters are to try to become a better hitter. What he's doing is he's working with the pitchers to try to get on the same page. And while doing that, he hit 60 home runs with 125 RBIs. The catcher is the most important position on the field. The catcher is the quarterback. Therefore, in that sense, Cal Raleigh's impact on the team, in my opinion, greatly blows away Aaron Judge's impact on his team.
But Judge is the most impactful, most positioned on the Yankees, and it's the most valuable player award. He's the most valuable to the Yankees. Nobody on the Yankees is coming close to his production. And Judge, a couple less games. He only had 7 less home runs than Raleigh and 10 less RBIs. He didn't miss those games. He could have had the same exact stats. At one point, they had the same home runs. Judge even had over a 400 batting average at one point during the year. That's unheard of in today's age. 331. He led both leagues, like I said before.
It's very impressive.
Okay, hold on. Okay. I'm going to stop you guys there. I know you are a suffering Jets fan.
I am.
And I would like to know, which is worse, being a New York Jets fan or being a New York Giants fan?
Well, if you say currently this week, the Giants, because the Jets won this week. But, I think the Giants have it worse, especially this season. It's just, awful luck with the injuries. Then you got Dart, Scadaboo, Neighbors, and all of a sudden, all three of them are out. Neighbors suffers his leg injury. Scadaboo with his foot. All those explosive, exciting young players, and now they're hurt. So what is this season left? Russell Wilson, he sucks. Jackson Dart's hurt. You got Jameis Winston, but other than that, like, we're kind of stuck right now. We have 2 wins.
I would argue overall right now and even in the future, I think the Jets are much worse off. Even though the records are pretty much the same, the Giants at least have their franchise quarterback figured out. The Giants have Jackson Dart. They also have Cam Scadaboo, running back, and Malik Neighbors, 2 phenomenal talents, but they got hurt. That's completely out of the control of the Giants. Now, they also drafted young talent in Abdul Carter, who is top 3 in Rookie of the Year odds. Now, the Jets, on the other hand, do not have a franchise quarterback. Justin Fields has 1 year left of his contract, and he's been awful. He only made 11 passes the previous game, only 11 attempts. And the Jets, the thing they struggle with the most is developing a quarterback. Now, they're in a situation where they have 5 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years. They have to hit on those. But the Jets have been a franchise that has not had that much success with that. And Woody Johnson, as their owner, to me, is one of the things that stand out that make them in a significantly worse position than the Giants. Woody Johnson last year, he relied on his son, Brick, giving Madden ratings to build the roster. In my opinion, that's completely ridiculous. And this year, he's blamed the entire season on Justin Fields' poor quarterback play. You cannot do that as an owner.
Okay, Justin Fields, think about it. He was drafted higher than Jackson Dart. And yes, Jackson Dart's a rookie. He's looking good. But you never know what his career is going to be like. I think it'll be good, but you never know. I just think also with the Giants, I just think over the past couple of years, they've gone through more. Both of them basically since 2015 been the same teams. The 2 worst winning percentages in the NFL in that span. Both of them had a 10, 11-year win, but after that, or not even Giants haven't even had 10 wins. I don't think since 2016, 2017, same with the Jets since 2015. But it's just the Giants, they've gone through coaches, 5 coaches, ever since they fired Tom Coughlin, McAdoo, Shermer, Judge, Daboll now, just the other day. Firing a midseason coach when we have these young talent, it sucks. And it's hard to watch, especially the last couple of years. And not to say GM Joe Shane, he's been mid. He's really been mid. His draft picks haven't hit, especially, 2022, drafting Evan Neal 5th overall. He didn't pan out. Evan Neal, he's not that good. He sucks. And now it's just also, another thing, Saquon Barkley wasn't asking for a crazy amount of money. The Eagles gave him 3 years, $37.7, and they gave Slayton 3 years, $36. And Slayton's way worse than Saquon Barkley. So just the decisions.
If we're talking about coaching, because I know you brought up coaching, now New York is one of the biggest markets, and the media is one of the main things with that, right? Aaron Glenn this past week has said that he will not be giving injury reports to the media based off of the fact that a reporter revealed that Garrett Wilson was going to miss 3 to 4 weeks. He was annoyed by that, but we're seeing every single week the combative answers from Aaron Glenn to reporters in his press conferences. And to me, that's setting a complete bad tone for the team, for the fans, for the media, because overall it's just a toxic environment. Now, if we're talking about talent, right, and how they manage talent, the Jets had Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, and they managed to blow that too. They had Devontae Adams. They blew that too. So I would say, what else are they going to blow next? The Jets are by far in a much worse situation than the Giants.
All right, I'm going to cut you both off there. I just want to remind everyone, we have a live studio audience here today voting on who should win this debate. They have been doing a great job behind the scenes, so we say a big thank you to them. But we're going to stay on this topic of the NFL because the tush push is one of the most controversial plays in football right now. What do you guys think? Should the tush push be banned?
I think the tush push should not be banned. I think because there is no rule saying that it's not allowed, it's a strategic play. And also at the same time, I think it's a little soft, the idea that we should ban it, because why should we go and change the rules just because the defense doesn't know what to do? The real thing is the defense put themselves in that position where really the tush push is going to become necessary because they didn't do a good enough job. And the other thing too is you have guys like Dan Campbell who have been on the other side of the tush push. He's said as a coach that even though it's frustrating, he knows it's going to show up and it's a good play for them, but they've got a lot of other things and he needs to defend that. And Nick Sirianni said that it's really a skill that they use. So the fact that the tush push has become such a useful play, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. What it's done more than anything is just increased the opportunities for a team to score. And in my opinion, even though it might not be the most entertaining thing in the world, it's a very physical play. And I know that Matt LaFleur said it's not a football play. It's very much a football play, in my opinion.
I disagree totally. I think it should be banned. Yes, it could be a little biased since I'm a Giants fan, but you talk about soft. Running 4 plays in a row of the tush push to score a touchdown. Come on, that's horrible football. I think they should ban it. You know, the refs miss so many calls, offsides, false start. They don't know how to ref it, especially, again, with the Giants last week. Kayvon Thibodeau, he forced a fumble. They recovered it. Refs didn't know what to do. They gave it back to Eagles, scored 2 plays later. It's boring football, and, you know, it's hurting the game. I don't think you want to watch the same play over and over again. I just think it's bad for football. And, you know, the Eagles, they won the Super Bowl last year. They already won with the play. I think most people are going to vote to ban it this season.
The thing is, realistically, the Eagles may be the team that does it the most, but they're not the only team that does it. The Pittsburgh Steelers did it a few weeks ago. They went about it a different way, obviously. Rodgers was kind of removed, and his teammates just did their job. But when thinking about the tush push, it's a strategy that all teams could use. Just because the Eagles do it the most, it's not necessarily a giant advantage per se. And really, more than anything, like, any team can figure out how to do it. Any team can practice it. Like, that's part of football. You know, if there's a new play, you learn it. You learn how to defend it. The fact that teams are not learning that, in my opinion, is one of the major problems with it. It's not the tush push itself. It's how people are not responding to it.
So that's why they're going to ban it. You said the Steelers. What was the other team you said did it besides the Steelers?
I've only brought up the Steelers.
Oh, okay, but like I haven't heard like anything the other teams have done it. I saw like Vikings player like years ago mention it, but like no other teams have done it. And also the Eagles are smart. They should run fake plays off the tush push, just make Jalen Hurts go to the side, be more effective. But I just think that, you know, it's just like I said, it's boring football, and not enough teams run it. So I think the owners in whatever meetings this year in the offseason, they're going to vote. No, they're going to vote to ban it. It's just, like I said, the refs have to be able to ref the play, manage the game. What were you going to say?
So the thing is,
They need to.
Right? They voted on this before, and 75% said that the tush push should not be banned. So why is that going to change in such a short amount of time? Granted, sometimes there's issues with the officials, but isn't most roughing the passer calls, most calls like that in general, most calls you can take a step back and realize that they're mostly just looking for something, and they'll mess up sometimes too. They're going to mess up with any call, and they're going to mess up with the tush push, just like sometimes they're going to get it right. But in my opinion, it's not that big of an issue, and I think people are just overreacting to it.
All right, I'm going to stop you both there. You both made very good points. That was a great job by both of you, but we have had a live studio audience voting on this. So if we can, we're going to get the votes in here real quick. Thank you very much. Okay, so very interesting voting here. Wasn't very one-sided, very even for both of you.
Good to know.
The first debate falls in the hands of Johnny. Johnny gets the first one.
All right.
Second debate. Who has it worse, Giants or Jets? That one goes to the Jets fan. Bringing it down to the last one, a split decision, 5-6. One person had the edge to the winner. His first time, Johnny Martirano.
Wow.
Congratulations on your first ever win. You tried. That's all that matters.
Systems break. I'm sorry.
So that's all we have for halftime on the Hudson. For Johnny Martirano, Jonathan Chernin, Dave Troger, and Jack, I am JJ Garcia. We will see you next time on halftime on the Hudson.
Harassed and arrested, saying we pieces of like you for